All right. Good morning. It is Monday, April 26th. Um so, as far as what's going on right now in the S&P, all right. And get rid of my camera cuz I still look like a skis right now. Um so essentially on Friday we closed on a little bit of a spike to the downside. Friday was really strong. It was a trend day, and then we created a new all-time high, and then sold off fairly strong going into the end of the session. We were still holding above VWAP, however, and when the overnight session opened here, we were remaining in relative balance. Um, the Nasdaq I should say, the Nasdaq did look a little bit weaker. If we take a look at the current activity here, so you can see that the Nasdaq had very similar price action on Friday, and then in the overnight session we were, fairly balanced. Then we took out the low. And then Delta started to pick back up again. And you can see that we're piercing the 2 standard deviation marker on the regression channel here. So there is some strength coming back into NQ. So basically that leads me to believe that the longs are, buying up the discount here. And we should potentially be looking for more activity to the upside. So as it stands, basically, I am neutral bullish. The other indexes like the Dow and the S&P, they both look fairly strong. The Dow and the Russell. Both the Dow has a weak high currently. Actually, both the Dow and the Russell have a weak high and a uppercase P shaped volume profile. So the point of control is near the top of the range, and we're getting acceptance at higher prices basically. Same thing with the S&P here. Like, albeit the profile is fairly D-shaped, the POC and the majority of the volume is weighted to the high. So that tells me that the buyers have been more aggressive, as the POC has not migrated downward whatsoever. So, like I said, my bias is neutral bullish right now. I think it's fairly safe to say that we will make an attempt at the all-time high again, right up here, and I believe that's at 41.8725. So that is around 15 points, greater than where we're at currently. Yeah, so that's pretty much where I stand. Like I said, things are fairly balanced at the moment. Just really waiting for more information. If we can take out the overnight high right here, I think excuse me, chances are we're gonna break through, come back and retest that level, and then grind up towards the all-time high here. If we were to look at this area on a higher time frame, such as the daily chart, you'd be able to see that this is basically just a bull flag on a higher time frame, which is a continuation pattern, so it's not overly surprising that we would break out in the direction of the overall trend. And then here's a market profile view of kind of where we stand currently. Just catching up in chat here. Hey, what's up, Wandering? This is day trading. No, this is simply analysis. I'm developing or talking about my bias for the day. So, I mean, every good trader's generally gonna have a plan. So it helps to, look at what the market is doing ahead of time. Okay, so like I said, that's where I stand. As far as everything else goes for this coming week, this is the biggest earnings week of Q1. So I know Tesla is reporting today, and we have all the major tech companies. I went over all this in the weekend wrap. Bear with me for just one moment. Okay, so today we have Tesla. Tomorrow we have Microsoft, Google, Visa, Eli Lilly, AMD. On Wednesday we have Apple, Facebook, Qualcomm, Boeing. Thursday we have Amazon, Comcast, Twitter, and then Friday we have Exxon and Chevron. So those are the major earnings for this week. Then on the economic calendar, the big things that you want to pay attention to are the FOMC on Wednesday. That is at 11:30 Pacific time. The interest rate decision will come in just prior to that at 11 Pacific time. And then on Thursday we have the Q1 GDP figures at 5:30. So those are the major events on the calendar this week. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got in preparation. Oh, and yeah, to answer your question, yes, I do this every single day. Basically, I have a kind of like a checklist that I've developed for myself where I go through the same kind of prep questions every single day. So I look at the previous day's regular trading hours, and I look at the value area on the volume profile. You may not know what that is yet. And I look at the point of control, which way the point of control moved higher or lower. I look at volume, the different, there are different opening types and day types that I will categorize things in, like trend days, etc. And then I do the same thing with the overnight session, because in futures it has futures trade 23 hours a day, unlike stocks. So futures will have a session where the rest of the world is trading, and then I look at the other indexes like the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the Russell 2000, and then I come up with the scenario, a variation of the primary scenario, and then a total opposite. Like if the market does the total opposite of what I expect, what my strategy would be at that point. So, and like I said, I do that every single morning. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be volatile. Um, yeah. Although, like, you know, I've seen people continually analysts increasing their expectations, like revising things to the upside. And the economic data so far this year has been really strong. So, I feel like we'll probably have pretty good numbers. I think people when they put out their Q1 estimates, I think they were fairly conservative just because they had no idea what the market was going to do exactly. So or what, the COVID was going to do, I should say. Um anyways, so yeah, that's all I got in preparation. So like I said, if anybody wants me to take a look at any stocks, feel free to let me know. Also Bitcoin right here. So Bitcoin is at a pretty nice buy point in my opinion. It needs to pull back. However, we had this really nice false breakout right around 47,000, and that trapped out everybody that got long in here. Um, so they all would have had to have liquidated, and then all these stops got run to the upside. You would have seen the stops right here, basically. So for us to come back and retest that level and then continue back to the upside, I think that would be a really perfect entry point on BTC there. I switched to monitors and I'm using my fisheye, just so it just makes it easier for you guys to see the full screen, and I don't have to like lean my head super far back. Hopefully it's not too blurry. And then as far as crypto goes, I mean, I I don't know. I think it's good. I don't really trade crypto all that much. Um, I might take some trades here and there, but I'm primarily a futures trader. But I know they are releasing a new micro Bitcoin contract on the futures market on May 3rd. So I may look at, potentially trading that. But yeah, I mean, I think crypto's good. I think there's a lot of hype surrounding some very uh, suspicious tokens. But I think all in all, it's a good thing, and I'm glad that we're moving in that direction. So, I'm curious to take a look at Riot blockchain here since Bitcoin is starting to bounce. So it looks like Riot is up in pre-market here. You can see that's our little spike here on the open. So potential long entry on Riot here. We might get a breakthrough this previous resistance level, and then we have an unfilled gap right in here that would be a nice target basically. If you were doing an options trade, take profit right at the gap fill, and then just monitor for continuation after that point. So that's Riot, RIOT. Yeah, it's pretty blurry. Dang. I mean, I can remove the fisheye. That's probably a lot easier for you guys to see. Oh dear God! Almost just broke my friggin' lens. Okay, well, I'm just gonna leave it like that. You can't see the full monitor, but at least it's not blurry. Hopefully that's better. The purple indicator, like this big line right here, that's just a trend line. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad it's easier to see. I mean, I could potentially move it back a little bit too. It's just hard for me to see what's going on in chat and. Sorry, hang on, guys. Try to make this work here. Ghetto. I do show my full screen on YouTube, just FYI. Okay, that's definitely better. Okay, thanks for your patience, guys. All right. Yeah, like I said, if anybody has any stocks they want me to take a look at, feel free to throw it in the chat. So this is TradingView. Anytime I'm looking at equities, I'm always just looking at TradingView. The platform that I use is called NinjaTrader. I don't get stock data on here though. So this is what I use when I'm trading futures. So I use NinjaTrader, and then I also use Jigsaw, primarily just for the dome, otherwise known as it's like the price ladder. So I pull the price ladder from Jigsaw since it's got a lot more features than NinjaTrader's does. But I did mention some possible setups here in the weekend wrap. So the three were on Neo, Naked Brands, and Pfizer. So let's take a look at what they're doing in pre-market here. So Neo, I was looking for a long. Basically, we had this trap right here where the descending triangle failed, and then all these shorts had to liquidate. So basically, I was looking for us to either pull back here or spike through this resistance zone in pre-market, which we have done. So basically, I'm just looking for continuation to the upside at this point. And that's on Neo, NIO. Remove that. Cool. All right, and then sorry, just catching up with chat here. Okay, good. All right, so that's one possible setup. Let's take a look at Pfizer. PFE, there we go. So on Pfizer, I was primarily just looking for us to, take a long off of this pullback. It's flat in pre-market. I mean, it's down, 4 cents, but that's nothing really to sneeze at or nothing to worry about, I should say. But in any event, I'm looking for continuation off of the pullback and for us to come back up to the top of the regression channel. And that would be around 41 bucks or so. So there's that. And then last but not least, what is it? Sundial. Excuse me, Naked Brands, not Sundial. All right, so it looks like Naked is up in pre-market. So I'm basically just looking at this big reversal right here. And we're right about here in pre-market so far. So basically my target would be this previous pivot high, which is also about the 2 standard deviation marker on the monthly VWAP, which is what these blue lines are right here. So taking it from where it's at, around 60 cents up to 75, more or less. And then potentially higher after that. Just got to monitor for continuation. Yeah, I do primarily scalping on futures. Futures has no pattern day trade limit or anything like that. That's why I switched to it from the get-go. I like to trade more actively and with stocks. I was just tired of PDT and not being able to take any trades and that kind of stuff. So I switched to futures, and I to be honest, it's so much. It's really a lot of leverage, and I don't think most people know how to control the emotional side that comes with very high leverage. At least at first. So I got my butt kicked when I first switched from stocks to futures. But I've certainly put that behind me and improved substantially. But yeah, most of my trades, because of the very high leverage, are going to be scalps. Because, when it's this much, I don't like leaving things overnight. It looks like the S&P is breaking the overnight high as we speak. So this is where I would normally start to look at getting in long. What I'm probably going to do, just because we're breaking out right now, guys, I'm going to wrap it up so I can potentially get in on this before we retest the all-time high. Yeah, just to reiterate, like I said, today I'm primarily long biased, and I'm looking for us to break through the overnight high here, come back, retest, and then grind up towards the all-time high with a potential break to the upside. So that's my bias today. I wish everybody the best of luck. Thanks so much for being here and for participating in chat. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you too, Wandering. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Oh, don't forget Tesla earnings after the close.